Strong, but my knees were far too weak to stand in your arms without falling to your feet. But there's a side to you that I never knew all the things you say that were never true, and the games you play you would always win, But I set fire to the rain, watch it pour as I touch your face. I let it burn while I cry, 'cause I heard it screaming out your name. When I'm with you, I could stay there and close my eyes and feel you're here forever, you and me together, nothing but...
Mark Anthony Reid. If you've never heard that name before, count yourself unlucky, because Mark is one of the most interesting and entertaining people I've stumbled across online in recent years. Not only because of the dramatic situations that Mark sometimes finds himself in, more on that later, but also just how this man is even alive to begin with. Looking at this guy, you might think he's involved in drugs or alcohol in some way, but from what I've seen, that's just not the case. There is two things that Mark lives off to survive, and that is cigarettes.
I'll be still smoking to the day I die.
And dare iced coffee.
Like that, I can drink up to 4 to 6 a day. But with the small ones, I'll drink up to 10 to 8 a day. So I end up with like 18 bottles in 2 days.
Now, when I say Mark lives off these two things, I'm not joking. It is very common for Mark to go days, sometimes over a week, without eating food, indulging only in 10 plus dare iced coffees a day and a mountain of nice, refreshing cigarettes to wash it down with.
Oh, that's better. Oh, sorry about that, everyone.
Now, if Mark was like any other normal human, he might want to quit smoking or maybe cut down on the caffeine that he drinks during the day. But Mark is actually of the belief that if he stops smoking, he will die.
Take my smokes away from me, you end up killing me. You end up giving me a heart attack. And that's the truth.
Which I probably don't have to explain to you guys that that's kind of not true. I guess each to their own. Now, these aren't the only strange beliefs that Mark has, which kind of leads me into the other topic about Mark that you, if you watch him, will find very prominent on his channel. And that's that Mark is a conspiracy theorist.
And I've gone and started thinking outside the cardboard box. Thought, yeah, right. Government don't want you to think outside the box. Government want to think for you.
Now, Mark isn't just any conspiracy theorist. Not some kind of pussy, moon landing fake, 9/11 was an inside job kind of conspiracy theorist. No, Mark believes in basically any conspiracy that you can think of, but mostly flat earth and the idea that reptilians are controlling the government.
When I went to Perth, my aeroplane wing was not up like that. I wasn't looking down on a wing, and I wasn't hanging on, right, for 5,000 Ks. Right, well, yeah, all right, we're on the side of a planet here, side on. I flew flat and level all the way. I know I did, because I looked out the window all the way, and it was all flat. There was no curvage. Supposed to see a curvage of the flat earth plane, supposed to be a curvage every 3 miles if the earth was round. I saw no curvage at all. It was all flat.
Now, as a result of these conspiracy theories that Mark is really into, he's also developed an extreme distrust of the government. He does kind of have a pretty good reason to not really like law and the government, which I'll talk about after this, but Mark has mentioned multiple times that he's going to bring the government down. I'm not really sure how or why he's going to do this, but I believe him. I mean, Mark has the physical and mental fortitude to get through this. If this man can go 14 days without eating and only drinking dare-iced coffee without shitting his pants, I believe he can take down the government. I will now show you what's quite easily my favourite Mark clip of all time. I will say this is way better than any Joker movie I have seen in recent years. I mean, the absolute terror I feel from watching this clip of Mark is indescribable.
And you still want to vote these politicians in? Absolutely disgusting. Seriously. And I'm going to bring this government to its knees. You watch. I will. You think I'm scared of the law system? I can't wait for my dog day in court with this law system. Their asses will be twitching like this on the edge of the throne when I finish with them. And people think I'm scared of the law system. I've been trying to take the law system to court for 10 years. And they've still got their asses twitching. They won't let me summons them. Well, that's telling you something, Bungee. Definitely Planet X is coming. I know it is. And I got them packing too. I tell you, it makes me laugh when people say, are you scared of the law? Please don't make me laugh.
Now, don't feel bad if you had to change your pants after that, because I know for a fact that I've definitely pissed myself in fear from watching that clip. Probably at least 50 times. My one hope is that they will do a Breaking Bad Australian version and cast Mark, because I think the crawl space scene would just be fantastic with Mark.
Where is the money?
I gave it to
The government.
What? You did what?
Now, you might be wondering why Mark has these feelings for the government. Mark has told the story multiple times, and I do want to say I'm not really sure if this is true or not. I'm more on the side of believing it's true, just the way he explains it. But Mark does talk a lot of shit. For example, Mark has stated that he hitched a ride from Ivan Milat, the famous Australian serial killer. Now, this might be true. For all I know, Bungee Mark here might actually be the second survivor of the infamous serial killer Ivan Milat, but I do highly doubt it.
That a serial killer is prowling the streets of Perth. After the disappearance of 3 women from the same Perth night spot, police are now certain they're looking for a methodical killer stalking young women.
We certainly have fears that there is a serial killer at loose in Perth as well.
In 1996 to 1997, there was a woman who went missing, presumed dead, and another 2 women that were found murdered. It was around this time in 1997 that Mark claims he was arrested by officers at his work and essentially questioned about the murders. Now, the police accused him of the murders and kind of thought he did it from the sounds of it. Obviously, it wasn't true. The man that actually committed the murders was caught in 2016. Now, I definitely don't think that Mark was involved in any murders in his lifetime. I'm pretty sure if Mark tried to chase anybody, he would just fall over and just pass away from lack of oxygen to his lungs because of all the cigarettes that man smokes.
I've got a lot of knowledge. Like I said, that's how come I put my last phone into a coma and Apple could not even wake it up because I put too much information into it. It couldn't think no more.
Believe it or not, before the events of the murder accusations and things like that, and during the start of it, Mark actually had a wife and 3 kids. Now, he kind of references a few times that the accusations were part of the reason that him and his wife got divorced and part of the reason that he doesn't talk to his kids anymore. I don't want to get too much into it because, I mean, we don't really know. We don't know their side of the story, and we probably will never know what the actual story is behind that whole thing. But Mark does talk about it quite a lot, and it does lead me into the last clip that I want to show today, in which Mark stumbles across and confronts his ex-wife's new husband, whom she has been with for 24 years. Basically since the birth of his last child. And you can probably see how that ends up.
You're the one that's brainwashed Kim against me.
No, she's got her own brain.
No, she hasn't got her own brain because you used your brain to brainwash her. She stopped me from seeing the kids and paying maintenance. So that stopped me from making contact. So don't stand there and talk shit to me.
You stopped yourself from paying maintenance.
No, she stopped me from paying maintenance, thank you. Because she rang child support and said, don't want no more collection.
Because you fucking threatened to kill him.
No, I wasn't.
Piss off.
Oh, whatever.
You go anywhere near my house, my kids, not your kids, my fucking kids.
Your kids, are they?
Yeah, for the last 4 years.
Yeah, I think this is pretty shitty. I don't think anyone deserves to really be punched in the face like Mark was. I believe there's probably more to the story than Mark is letting on, but again, we don't really know. Now, this video could probably go for 3 hours if I was to show every fantastic and funny clip that Mark has made over the years. Mark's actually been around on the internet for like 12 years or 11 years or something crazy like that. But he mostly uploads on TikTok. He uploads on his YouTube, him going on roller coasters and doing bungee jumping, if that's something you're interested in. So definitely go and have a look at Mark's TikTok if you want to watch his lives. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't already, subscribe. I've just started making videos. I love doing stuff like this. So if you have any tips or any advice or anything that you want me to talk about, maybe some other crazy people on TikTok, I'd be happy to.
I'd have to say, to be honest with you, in the last 10 years, I'll be really honest with you. How much water has Bungee drank in the last 10 years? I'd be lucky to drink a bucket. Serious. And how much food have you eaten in the last 10 years? I'd be lucky to have a half a bucket. And how much iced coffee have you drank in 10 years? Probably, pretty close to 10,000 litres.